people. Yes, people. Welcome back to Let's Talk Premier League. We're here for the Liverpool show. I'm joined by Rack and Tom. How are we both doing?
I'm doing all right.
Good.
How are the nerves? Roy Hodgson's last game, coming back to his old stomping ground. What could possibly go wrong for Liverpool?
And they're missing the second best player to injury as well.
Yeah, but you've got Rhys Williams and that Phillips at the back, and they've looked all right so far. But you can never guarantee. You can't guarantee that. It's not like
Chris Wood didn't challenge them. Imagine Wilfried Zaha crossing to Christian Benteke all the time. Poor Rhys Williams is going to be sent back to Kidderminster.
Yeah, it's not gonna be. A lot of Liverpool fans are like, yeah, but we have the fans. And I'm like, yeah, that's not quite gonna be the.
Yeah, because Steve 54 from Bolton is gonna bag a header in the 94th minute to get his Champions League football.
It's a nervous time. It is a nervous time, but we'll look at that at the end. We'll keep it going. We've got a few things to talk about, and I'm sure everyone has seen the title of the show today, and it's a certain Kylian Mbappe. Never heard of him before?
Who?
No,
Mbappe. Yeah, he's a new one to me as well. I've done some research. He's not too bad. Currently plays for PSG. He's not too shabby. He's a maybe a bit of improvement on Mane. But there's some interesting news coming out. Now, apparently, he's keen on coming to Liverpool with Jurgen. Now, he is a Nike athlete. You're sponsored by Nike. Now, everyone's saying he's going to Real Madrid. They're sponsored by Adidas. Last time I checked, Nike really wouldn't want their star boy going to join Real Madrid sponsored by Adidas. It gets him a lot less exposure than if he was to join Liverpool, per se, for various sponsorship reasons and all of that. Apparently, Nike look like they could be funding a lot of the deal, very similar to what United did with Paul Pogba and Adidas. Apparently, Nike could be putting up the money to go in there sign Kylian Mbappe to arrive at Anfield. Now,
It doesn't work like that. Nike, they can't. First of all, they can't because you can't have a third party funding your transfer activity. It needs to come from your own club. And
but
Nike aren't going to pay their wages or aren't going to pay transfer fee.
Well, there's elements so they can't just pay for the transfer. I completely hear that. But it's similar to what Adidas did with Paul, which is they paid
the largest sum for the sponsorship fee for a season. Yeah, they used that extra fee to go and pay for the Pogba transfer, and then they recouped that money in the extra sales. That's how it would work. They're not allowed to just go out and pay the entire transfer fee.
It wouldn't be Nike just going up to PSG and going, "Here's the money." It would be Nike saying, "Oh shit, what do you mean you've added all of this money to our yearly sponsorship for this season, you bastards?" And then Liverpool going to sign Kylian Mbappe. I mean, if that were, let's start with we're in dreamland and this could just work with no problems. There's absolutely nothing impacting Kylian Mbappe walking into Anfield. I mean, it would be a vast improvement on Mane, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. I mean, Mane's been a great player for 5 years for us, so I don't want to rip Mane to pieces. Obviously, he hasn't had his best season.
It's not ripping Mane to pieces. It's comparing Mane to arguably the greatest footballer in the world.
And I don't want to dispose of Mane, willy nilly, but obviously he hasn't had his best season. We want to be challenging him next season. I think I've said for a while that I don't think the Mbappe transfer is impossible. Finance-wise, we can probably manage it. It might mean the selling of one of our other top players, which I don't necessarily mind. At the end of the day, if every business has to buy and sell and act accordingly, I don't necessarily think that's the worst thing in the world. But next season's going to be difficult. You don't want to be losing good players next season as well, because there's also going to be a compressed time frame. There's going to be little time after the Euros. Players will have played, a big chunk and then a season, a compressed season, then international tournaments, then you got African nations in the middle of next season. There's lots of things to think about, and yeah, it's going to be easy, but I don't think it's impossible, and it will be great, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be a shabby transfer, and it would definitely show a signal of intent of challenging for the title next season. If Mbappe starts walking into the doors, and it puts pressure on your rivals as well. It puts pressure on United to go get Sancho. It puts pressure on City to go buy a striker, because if you're buying Mbappe, they have to strengthen. And I mean, if United think you getting Mbappe and them getting Sancho is going to be even keel, I don't want to upset any United fans possibly watching. No, that would also mean you need to go buy a centre-back and definitely a DM, just to even have a chance of competing with Liverpool. But, Tom, what do you make of Mbappe? Not the player. I think if anyone says other than he's world-class, they're a deluded moron. But in terms of what he'd bring to Liverpool, what do you think you'd see?
Oh, it'd be the most excited I've ever been for a player. 100%. You know, this is someone who's one of the top 5 players in the world, and he wants to come to Liverpool. To think where we were 3-4 years ago, that's crazy. I think we need to do anything we can to get this over the line. The only player in my eyes who's untouchable to get the steal over the line is Mo Salah. I'd want to see Salah and Mbappe together up there. Yeah. I would be willing to let go of Sadio Mane. I'd be willing to let go of Firmino. Because if we can get Mbappe and we're able to keep the success going, that's our left wing or striker position sorted for 5-10 years. We don't have to worry about it. We can focus on other areas. You know, he developed into the best player in the world under us, and we then have. I don't know how many times you've had the best player in the world.
Don't think Mbappe's gonna finish his. If Mbappe moves to you now, I'm gonna chuck this out there now. I don't think he finishes his career at Liverpool.
No, we don't.
Probably not. Probably not.
It'd stay. 21.
Yeah, I can see us getting 4 or 5 years.
See him staying for 5-6 years, then going off to Real Madrid for the prime of his career.
Yeah, I mean, I think similar. I mean, maybe a little bit shorter. I reckon 4 years, and then he moves on to Real Madrid. But you know, again, like obviously, some fans will be very much against that. Like and when that moment comes around, they'll be like, we should keep all of our best players. But sometimes people want to change, and sometimes Mbappe's been quite strategic in the way that his career's been laid out. He could have come to Liverpool, and there were a number of other clubs interested when he left Monaco, but he chose to stay in France. He wanted to develop further in France before moving abroad, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're thinking similarly strategically for his next move. One of the reasons why Ronaldo is huge, of course, is the fact that he played for Real Madrid, but he also played in England, probably the biggest league in the world, and that enhanced his profile immeasurably. Add to that, if Mbappe comes to the Premier League, he's probably the biggest player to ever come to the Premier League. Like in terms of when they join, I can't think of anyone else who would be of a similar stature. Because a lot of good players have left at their peak, but how many of Mbappe's level have arrived at their peak?
That's a bloody good question.
I mean,
maybe Aguero, but even.
Aguero didn't have the hype.
That high?
No.
Bearing in mind, this is someone who we're in a new age, so there's going to be more hype around these players. This is a kid who's been on the radar at the top of the European stage since he was 17. It's mutually agreed that he's going to become the best player in the world. Coming to the Premier League at a time when it's the most competitive, that's just going to bring all new levels of hype.
And you mentioned Ronaldo, and I think the reason Ronaldo is as good as he is today is because of Fergie. I mean, there's no doubt that Fergie made this beast even more of a beast than he is today. And I think Mbappe, if he works under Jurgen takes him to a different level than he is now. And that, because we all talk about how amazing Jurgen Klopp is at coaching and managing and getting the best out of players and all of this. Jurgen Klopp would absolutely do unspeakable things for Kylian's career.
I mean, all we've seen Jurgen Klopp do is develop good players into world beaters. Imagine when he gets a world beater on his hands and gets the chance to develop that. Sky's the limit.
I don't even want to imagine what sort of unspeakable things Jurgen would do with Kylian, because it would be possibly even you may have the police called about 38 times for just grievous bodily harm or mental assault, because that would destroy teams, like, especially if you're getting Mbappe believing in the whole Jurgen philosophy. It is interesting. We've never seen Jurgen develop a world beater in terms of actually have one on his hands as a world beater and seeing what he does with him. So
he's never had the chance to buy a world beater. He's always had to make them.
Yeah.
But with Mbappe coming in as well, we get a hell of a lot more pull power as well. Players want to play with the best players, so we become a hell of a lot more of an attractive proposition again. Because who wouldn't want to join a team with Van Dijk, Alisson, Salah, Mbappe? You know,
and look, I don't want to think too far ahead, and I don't want to get greedy, but look, next season Haaland is becoming available. If Haaland has,
that would be illegal. Now, Mbappe, Haaland, and Salah.
Obviously, Haaland could choose to go elsewhere, but he could think, maybe I go to Liverpool for follow a similar path, play on the most unbelievable front line ever assembled in the Premier League, at least potentially. I mean, it's the kind of thing that might appeal to him. Who knows?
Oh my God! Imagine Trent and Robertson and Thiago passing to that front three instead of Firmino. Oh my God!
I said this on Indiana's channel. I've said it plenty of times on the First 11. I don't buy this hype about Haaland just yet. Look, he's done it in the Bundesliga, and look, I'm not disrespecting the Bundesliga, right? They play with ridiculously high lines. Let's look at Timo Werner, for example. Timo absolutely smashed it in the Bundesliga and is now offside every single game in the Premier League.
Champions League, though. You've got to bear that in mind. He holds the record for most goals in 20 games.
But 1 minute, when he came up against arguably the best team in Europe at this precise moment in Manchester City, what did he do?
He didn't have his best game. He still had a couple of good chances, and he got an assist.
The reason he didn't have his best games, though, is because Pep chucked on a Ruben Diaz to just man-mark this brick. And that's the thing.
To be fair, though, Haaland beat Ruben Diaz a number of times, and Ederson bailed him out. Haaland's not there. Haaland is a great finisher. He's, at the moment, a specialist player. He's someone who you get in front of goal. But there's no doubt, because we've seen glimpses of it already, that he's going to develop the hold-up play, the build-up.
And again, I've said this before.
You've seen glimpses of that, haven't you?
Me and Rachel have said this again together on plenty of shows where we basically said we're not doubting that he's going to be a world-class player. What I'm doubting is that he's not world-class right now. And you hear all these people say,
he's not the best, but he is world class now. He's one of the top 5 strikers in the world.
He's very good. He's not world class yet.
I would tend towards saying he is world class.
He's on that border, isn't he? He's in between.
The way he's playing, I don't think his overall game is fully fleshed out, as Tom said. But there are strings to his bow that he's yet to add. But he's well on the way to doing them, and he's already, like, the numbers that he's putting up are mad.
This is the thing with the whole world class. Everyone has a different definition of what world class is. I define world class as you can get. There's 3 world 11s. If you can get into one of them 3 world 11s, you're world class. That's
Mason Greenwood's world class. Excellent. I love to see it. I've just made Mason Greenwood world class. If that's the definition of world class, he's in there.
It's mad. I was on my list the other day.
Like, there's one player at United who I would not love to see at Liverpool, but one player who I think is headed right to the top. I think it's Mason Greenwood, and it's unfortunate to say, but He is an exceptional player, and he's going to be great for them for.
The beautiful thing about this is I can have players that I just like because my team is in League One. I can like as many players as I want, and I can want the manager sacked if them players aren't played. So, for example, for Liverpool, I quite like Trent and Curtis Jones. At the moment, Jurgen Klopp should probably be sacked because he ain't playing Curtis Jones enough. So
Curtis Jones ain't playing well enough to play.
Yeah, and it's like if Mason Greenwood is, even if he's taken off, like he may have played every game previously. If Ollie takes him off with at 30 minutes go, sack him. I'm done with this bullshit. Like I can have these player agendas, and I can say them with chest because I don't actually like your clubs. Like, and that's the beauty of it. Not a problem. It's
that's
why I'm actually quite
like with Haaland and Lewandowski and that. I was sat there thinking about this the other day. How many top quality strikers are there now?
So you got Lewandowski and Kane
because they've all went to wingers.
Yeah, wide forward than the striker.
In my eyes, we've got Lewandowski, Kane, Benzema, Lukaku, Haaland, and potentially Suarez. That's it.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think there's a world-class striker in the Premier League.
Apart from
you got Kane, haven't you?
Apart from Harry Kane, yeah, but he's not in this debate. He's like,
I suppose you'd probably put Aguero in that list.
I think the injuries have killed him off. That's why if it was just about prime, Suarez would be in there, but he's slowing down a bit, and I don't think compared to the other ones he's world class.
Oh, if you put Suarez in, you have to put Aguero in. Simple as that, really.
I didn't put Suarez in.
Oh, I thought you put Suarez in.
I've got 5 people. I've got Lukaku, Lewandowski, Haaland, Benzema, and Kane.
That's funny. I haven't thought about this for a while, but you make a really good point, Tom, because like there are good players, but absolute elite strikers.
It's a good one for the chat. Put your comments in the chat. If there's anyone you think is a world class striker, put it in the chat. Cop says top 4 predictions. Everyone.
Chelsea drop out. These draw with Villa.
And
then they go and lose the Champions League final, and Thomas Tuchel are going to play Europa League football next year.
I want that almost as much as us qualifying for the top for the Champions League. I'm not sure it will happen, but Villa, Villa back in the day, they've had an intimidating stadium. Villa Park in its day could intimidate anybody, and it's going to be the first time they've had fans in a year or just over a year. It's not impossible,
Villa are due a win. Jack Grealish needs to get some match sharpness, get some form before the Euros.
And as with a lot of Chelsea games, if Villa get the first goal, it becomes a bit more difficult, right? Because Chelsea then have to open up a bit more, which is tricky when you're playing with 3 centre backs. So you
also might have to rest because they've got the Champions League final. He won't go full strength because he can't risk injuries.
So he can't afford not to be in top 4.
He can if they win the Champions League. That's the thing.
But that's a very big.
But you never want to go into a Champions League final having to win it to get Champions League.
Sacrificing top 4 to guarantee yourselves to beat Manchester City. I know he's done it twice already, but that would be brave and downright stupid. But see, crazy. my top four, and you two, you'll probably laugh. Obviously, City have won the league. Mm-hmm. United have come second.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think you may. I think you may choke it against Palace because I just think
I'm leaving, mate.
I won't. I will go Chelsea Leicester. I don't know, and look, I could be wrong, but I don't know. This season, you have been one of the worst teams that I've ever seen. Like, I'm looking at it going, oh my god.
Yeah, but now we're the best team in the league on form.
No, just because Sonny has got an instant erection over Nat Phillips does not make you the best team in the league.
No, it's a fact. We are at the minute we're the best.
It's the fact that Sonny's got an instant erection over Nat Phillips.
Yeah, we don't talk about Nat Phillips. You know my.
Would you want to talk about Rhys Williams as well next?
We don't talk about him either.
we don't talk about anyone at centre back at the minute. It's a curse position. But like on form, I think it's the last 8 games we've got 6 wins and 2 draws or something.
Congratulations.
It's the best in the league.
That doesn't guarantee you.
Since Thiago and Fabinho have been playing paired together and starting in midfield, I think
we only dropped 4 points.
Yeah, which is
we've got. I think it's 24 points from, or like 25 points from 29 or something.
One of them wins did require your goalkeeper to go up for a corner and to score with his head.
It doesn't matter how it happens.
Small details. Let's not worry
it
about
don't matter how it happens. It just happens.
Liverpool fans this season are like, let's just skip over small details. We'll just look at the pure facts.
You know, we have no right to be top four. How we're top four, I really don't understand, because
how the other teams have let
we were like March. We were 8th in March or something like that.
The thing is, the other teams have let you. The likes of Chelsea, Leicester, even West Ham. They've allowed you to get into this position.
I agree. I don't know how that's happened, because I'd written our chances off 6 weeks ago. But
just imagine Sanchez
United. It's a funny season.
Mbappe to Reds and Messi to City. I don't think that's City one. I think City get Kane, not Messi. Mbappe ain't getting right. Well, that's not Mbappe's fault. They have got a forward as a manager, so.
And he does only have a season. He's only got a year left on his contract, so PSG are in a bit of a bind. You know, they need to.
They do have to sell.
Yeah.
Oh, the question was top 3 for next season, so top 4 for next season.
Chelsea. I don't know what order, but Chelsea, United, City, Liverpool.
Yeah, look,
I agree with that top 4.
We'll look at the order after the transfer window, because there's no point. As I could say, City win the league and then they go sell Kevin De Bruyne and don't replace him, right? It's unlikely. Or I could say Liverpool are going to win the league and then Van Dijk and Trent just fuck off, and Trent finds a pregnant woman and Van Dijk goes to Holland or something. Like, you just never know, do you? I could say United win the league and then they sell Bruno Fernandes and Mason Greenwood. So there's so many variables in football. But yeah, I hear that. Mbappe ain't coming to a Prem. He bags 30 plus goals a season and wins title in the Farmers League.
Exactly. That's why he'll come to the Prem, because he has. If he wants to win the Ballon d'Or, which is his ultimate goal. You're not going to win the Ballon d'Or playing against Tractor FC. You've got to do it against the big boys.
Chris saying, can we all agree Mbappe will play for Real Madrid at some point in his career, even if he plays for someone else in the upcoming season?
If he comes to Liverpool, he's not going to finish the season at Liverpool. But I'm okay with that. That's fine, because when we said, if we buy him for what I reckon he's probably worth right now, given the contract situation, given COVID and all that, I reckon maybe around 120 million. Now, assume we get him for 120 million, say 130. In 4 years' time, the economics of football have improved immeasurably, and then we're looking at selling him for 250 million. So it makes sense from a business point of view. It makes sense from a footballing point of view for him.
This is the crazy thing,
from a footballing point of view for us.
Like, in 4 years' time, will he even want to go to Real Madrid? Will the situation have changed so much?
No.
Yeah.
I think at some point, it's very much like Ronaldo. It may not be Real Madrid, but he will go to one of the elite of the elite clubs, a Real Madrid, a Barcelona, or Bayern. He will move on. He will not
to Bayern. There's no point.
Not Bayern, but you know what I mean. He will go to an elite club, like the elite of the elite, and he will move on to a big club, one of the Spanish La Liga clubs most out. And yeah, I think that's a guarantee. He will not end his career at Liverpool. Right? It's very much like the Ronaldo situation with United. He will leave at some point. Just be thankful you got to watch him at Liverpool. Hector saying, "Can Klopp handle a superstar? It's a risk."
What I would say is that I'm not necessarily thankful that we're watching for Liverpool, but I just think that I'm okay with him playing for us for a few seasons, then going somewhere else, because human nature dictates, for various different reasons. He may want to change. He may want to progress his career further in a different league. He may want to try something different. And, that's also kind of a little bit why I don't begrudge Gini Wijnaldum. If he wants to leave, he's given us 5 years of solid service, despite what some people may say. And he signed his contract.
He's given us 4 years of solid service. We don't talk about this year.
And he leaves with my good wishes and my blessing, even though that's probably not worth it.
He'll get good. I will wish him well, but I still stand by the fact that we should have sold him in the summer if he weren't going to sign a new contract. Because we've got a player who's playing a lot of games for us who doesn't want to be here. They're not. When we have such a season like this, where we need everyone to be on board, committed, doing everything they can to get a weakened team across the line, at times it just seems like he's not all there as committed. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the other angle of the Alisson goal, the celebrations. He walks over. Andy Robertson sprints over to the touchline to celebrate. Gini Wijnaldum walks over to Alisson.
Yeah, but you know what? These are like small things that you sometimes see, and you may be right, but I don't necessarily think we should like look into them too deeply, because afterwards the camera does pan back to him. He was there celebrating with the lads, and I don't know. But the only person we can trust to make that decision is Klopp. And if Klopp saw that he didn't think he was going to get a response from him, and Klopp didn't think that he would perform as well as he thought he was going to, then I think Klopp would have got rid of him. But I trust that.
What do you make of what Hector's saying? Can Klopp handle a superstar? It's a risk and an expensive one.
Of course he can handle.
He's handling superstars now.
Van Dijk, Alisson, Fabinho, Trent, Robertson, Salah, Mane. He did it at Dortmund as well. He had Lewandowski. Gertz at the time was the most wanted youngster in the world. Marco Rhys came in. Ilkay Gundogan. Matt Hummels developed into a world beater under him. He knows how to deal with them. What we're on about is he's never been given, in a sense, the finished article straight away.
Yeah.
So then do his magic on.
I think a big reason why Kylian Mbappe wants to come is because I think he wants to play with Jurgen Klopp. There's not many managers out there that have the charisma that Jurgen Klopp kind of engenders with fans and with players alike. So I think that's a big part of him wanting to come.
Yeah, no, I hear that. The next, I'll go to some comments. Hector saying, "Are you seriously dissing Haaland's entire career based on one game? He's a star." No, right. You have to listen to the words that come out of my mouth. Haaland is very, very good. Haaland one day will be a world-class player and a world beater. He will be one of the top 2 in the world. Right now, he is not, because firstly, look at Timo Werner in the Premier League. I will have the same comparisons. You can do it in Germany until you've done it in the Prem, where I can watch you, because I don't watch Bundesliga. I don't watch that crap. I barely watch it. I mean, I don't even watch.
To be fair, like, on the Timo Werner thing, he's not built to be a Premier League striker. That's the thing. He's not physically good enough to be a Premier League striker. Haaland is. That's the one thing I'd say differently. Werner just can't hack it physically. He gets battered by defenders because he's just not strong enough, and it puts him off his game. Haaland will be able to hold his own. We've seen it already multiple times. Werner's a better winger than a striker in the Premier League because there's less physicality out wide.
Yeah, and to be honest, Werner hasn't worked out for Chelsea, but I think that with the right coaching and if he'd been, if he had enough confidence and stuff like that, he still has time to make a success of it. I don't think Chelsea would give him that opportunity because they're probably going to buy Lukaku or something like that. But he's got the tools to be a good player.
In response to the question that Tom asked, someone said Cavani.
Cavani's in that same class as Suarez and Aguero. Yeah. Just below the elite because they were and they've slowed down a bit.
He's that downward trajectory now.
To be fair, what he's doing in the Premier League with barely no pre-season is quite remarkable. I actually think. Mm-hmm. So Cavani
it's just below, but like for an elite striker, I think you need to be in your prime. Really, that's the tough thing about it. Ronaldo is. That's a tough thing with Ronaldo because he is, but he's playing in such a shit team. We don't get to see it. Like I would class him, but I don't even know if he's best up front or if he's better on the wing coming in. It's Ronaldo's such a weird one. I don't like to class him in these debates because as the player so much better than everyone else.
Yeah, and look, obviously Juve haven't done that well this season. I used to live in Turin, so I know. Well, I've got a lot of friends who are Juve fans. I used to go to the stadium quite a lot. They are they're not having a great season, but Ronaldo hasn't. Even though he scored a fair number of goals, he hasn't really set the world alight. Like they really bought him to make an impact on the Champions League, and that hasn't really happened.
Big up to Wolf, who's going to support our goal next season. Love to see it. Funny what happens when we play players in their natural positions. We win games.
Who would have thought that playing two centre-backs at centre-back and playing two midfielders in midfield would actually mean we start winning some football games? Mad how the last one to realise that was the manager.
What do you put that down to? What do you put him down to continuing Fabinho and Henderson at
loyalty
centre-back?
Loyalty.
For what? They're not centre-backs. What loyalty is he showing putting them in the back for? Fabinho probably did not appreciate it.
You know, I think it's a difficult one because look, Rhys James, not Rhys James, sorry, what's his bloody name? What's our centre back's name? I forget his name now. I can't remember his name.
Williams.
Nat Phillips and Rhys Williams. You just called your centre back after Chelsea's right back.
I just saw that Chelsea comment come up, and it just.
I wish we had Chelsea's right back at fucking centre back
since 2017. Yeah, I mean Rhys Williams, he's not going to be a Premier League centre back, even though he's young, and obviously Nat Phillips. I mean, the best thing probably Nat Phillips has done, I hate to say it, is he's probably increased the amount we can sell him for by 5-10 million. But I'm a
bad man, apparently.
Thought to put Fabinho back in there. It makes some degree of sense and I think the plan was to use him as an emergency fourth choice centre back when we sold Lovren if we ever needed to. But we never thought that obviously we were going to have all these injuries and. Ultimately, I guess it's come good at the right time, but it's not an easy decision.
Mr. Potter saying, I think if Virgil is back and Liverpool sign Mbappe, they go undefeated.
I think we need a striker. I'd want to play Mbappe off the left, personally, and then I'd want a world-class striker there, and then I've got no issues going unbeaten.
Are you not concerned that Van Dijk might not be the same Van Dijk that you had in previous years, because an ACL is one of. I think Van Dijk now gets more niggly injuries. That normally happens with ACLs. They're such a horrible injury to have, and you do hear of careers being shortened because of ACLs. Do you think? Are you worried about that?
I think that's more when
you rush back.
More prevalent nowadays. It's quite common for players to have ACLs and come back and be relatively, almost back to the peak of their careers, if not back at their peak. So until I see it, obviously you never know. But I'm confident that he's got all the physical attributes to, and he's just what a specimen he is of a man. I think he'll come back, but we'll see.
Well, what about you, Tom? Are you slightly concerned?
The doubt and the concern will always be there, but I'm much more confident in him coming back and being the same player that he was, because that's how good he is. A lot of people get ACLs now, and a lot of people make full recoveries and reach the same level. Memphis Depay is one of them. He's been at new levels for Lyon this season. Nabil Fekir. And when you have an ACL, there's the potential for more niggling injuries, or there's the potential to somehow sort your injury history out. Nabil Fekir is one of them. Had a bad ACL. There was injury doubts about him. He's only missed 4 games this season through injury, which is remarkable. Nabil Fekir.
Oh, I thought you said Naby.
Wanted to sign.
I thought you said Naby Keita, because
Naby Keita misses about 4 games a week.
Naby Keita has also now picked up a hamstring injury.
Naby's missing. He's missing first team games and reserve games, with no end in sight.
I genuinely think, remember when you used to put injured players in the under-20s to get match sharpness? We couldn't risk that with Naby Keita. He get injured again.
Yeah. Have you,
you are
just
not
out
wrong.
of curiosity though, guys? Have you actually ever looked into how an ACL reconstruction is carried out? It's mad. It's absolutely crazy. Like they drill through your bone and put this take this piece of cartilage or something from your hamstring, and yeah, it's the maddest operation I've ever seen. I saw how they do it on YouTube, and it's a bit crazy.
That's yeah, that is something that I hope no one was eating whilst discussing that. Especially if you're squirmish. If you're squirmish, I apologise. Chris saying Curtis Jones for Wijnaldum replacement next season.
No, he's not. He's not defensive enough.
Well, what do you do with Curtis Jones then?
You use Curtis Jones as you'd be more of a backup to Thiago in a sense of he's the one given the creative freedom in the midfield to be the one that's allowed to push on from the midfield.
So it looks like I'm going to be calling for Klopp to be sacked for quite a while now.
The thing is with Jurgen, if Curtis Jones is playing good enough, he will play ahead of Thiago. Like that's how it works. I had to sit there and watch Adam Lallana play ahead of Gini Wijnaldum for a full season pretty much because Adam Lallana was so good. He doesn't pick players based off quality. He picks them based off form.
Would you take not Milner, Adam Lallana or Gini Wijnaldum?
Gini Wijnaldum every day of the week.
Yeah, but Tom has a Gini Wijnaldum.
It depends what form. No, it depends what form of Adam Lallana.
Well, it's Gini. Okay, the worst of Adam Lallana or the worst of Gini?
Oh, the worst of Gini because at least the worst of Gini's first.
I mean.
But if you were offering me the best of both, I'd take the best of Adam Lallana. 2016-17, Adam Lallana was a new breed. Man was immense.
I've never been a massive Lallana fan, to be honest. But, if you're picking the best or worst of any two players, then it becomes a bit tricky. I mean, I think Gini has given us more than Lallana did. Maybe, partially because of injuries or whatever. And he's been a more consistent performer, so I'd go with Gini. But
see, I'm gonna be an asshole and ask you another really difficult question. Jurgen Klopp or Kenny Dalglish?
Jurgen Klopp or who?
Oh mate, come on.
Kenny I told you I'd be a bastard about this.
Jurgen Klopp, because I'm dealing with Kenny Dalglish, the manager. I'd rather have Jurgen Klopp because Jurgen Klopp won a Champions League.
I'm a bit older, right? So I remember Dalglish when he was a manager, and when Hillsborough happened and the stuff that he went through, they're just different. I can't say.
He can't. It's like
I love them. I love them both with all my heart, and that's what I can say.
It's like me asking. It's like me asking which of your kids you like more. You just can't really do it an awful lot. And if someone does do that, if you literally have a favourite kid, you're a horrible parent.
You got any more of these fucking dodgy questions then that make us debate life?
You're not doing us any favours here now.
Dudek, not Dudek.
Not Dudek. Not Dudek is the right answer.
Gerrard or Henderson.
Gerrard or Hendo.
Gerrard.
Who's been a better captain for you?
Gerrard.
The question doesn't even need answering.
Really? I'd have thought because Henderson was able to lift up that lovely Premier League trophy, that he'd have gotten there. What do you think of Gerrard being
if I would put Gerrard into that Liverpool team that won the title, we'd still win the title. If I put Henderson in that team in Istanbul, we wouldn't have won the final.
You never know that because Gerrard could have easily slipped a fair few times. But what do you make? Talking of Gerrard, we might as well. He's caused a bit of a storm this week. Big up to Liam, though, my fellow Janner. Steven Gerrard's caused a bit of a ruckus in the football community this week by being inducted into the Premier League Hall of Fame. Now,
right. There's absolutely no reason why he shouldn't be.
I have my own viewpoint on this, and I'll get to mine in a bit, which has caused me to get quite a considerable amount of backlash on Twitter. FYI, if you send me nasty, Well, who do you think? If I've been critical of Gerrard getting into the Hall of Fame, I'm hardly getting United fans giving me nasty messages, am I? FYI, if you do send me your tears in Twitter, just to remind you, I have a massive grin when I see that, because it actually makes me happy. So the best way to describe me is I'm basically Prime. Like, if you're in tears and you're crying on football Twitter, I have a grin on my face. So just FYI, that's probably the fairest reflection of me. Just assume I'm Prime. So assume your tears make me happy. So please do continue to send them to me. But I'll go to you lot first. What do you two think of Gerrard in the Hall of Fame?
Rightfully inducted. He's ability-wise the best midfielder we've ever seen in the Premier League. But what gets held against him is the fact that he had to deal with Albert Riera as his star left winger, or Fabio Aurelio, who was injured half the time, as a star left back in the best team he had to play with. I don't get why people are getting vexed anyway. It's the Budweiser Hall of Fame. It has no relevance. If I'm sat here debating players and I have to go, oh, well, Budweiser tell me that Gerrard's better because he's in the special Hall of Fame. No. Technically wise, any manager in the world would have wanted Steven Gerrard. You could ask any pro who they'd want to be in their midfield, and it would be Steven Gerrard. The best defensively, best all round. We'll give Lampard attacking wise because he didn't have to do any defending. All he had to do was stand there on the edge of the box and run in late. Gerrard, as a player, was better than 99% of midfielders. The only one I would really argue with was Paul Scholes, because Paul Scholes was that good. But Gerrard, rightfully inducted, they hold against him the fact that he didn't win a Premier League. But I'd like to see Paul Scholes in a Premier League when your star striker is El Hadji Diouf and not Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much more to say. Look, most of the teams that Gerrard played in, he elevated them to a high level, but he was head and shoulders above most of the teams that he played in. And without his influence, I dread to think where we'd be. He's been our best midfielder, in my opinion, the best midfielder the Premier League's ever seen. And I mean, people say that the teams he played in, they weren't all that bad. The best team that he played in was the 08-09 team. I think when we finished a couple of points behind United, I think we lost 2 games that season. We just drew a stupid number, and that's, for me, that was also United's best ever team, best team in the Premier League. Gerrard was just a different level. Like, he played at a very high level, defensive midfield, attacking midfield. He played a couple of seasons on the right. In the Champions League final, when we were out on our feet, he played right back against Serginho, a fresh Serginho who just come on, and you could trust him to do that. You can't put Paul Scholes right back in the 110th minute against a fresh Serginho. That's not going to happen. You can't trust Lampard to play as a DM or dictate play. Granted, that wasn't Gerrard's best position. That was at the end of his career.
To be fair, just on Scholes, Fergie did have to play him at centre back in the Champions League game. So I do think
Gerrard could have played centre back.
I can't remember. I can't remember who it was.
I think it was against Wolfsburg.
But what I'm saying is, you can probably trust. I agree with the Lampard. He wouldn't have the discipline, but I do think you can probably trust Scholes, mainly for the fact that boy did love to send people 5 feet in the air, so he probably relished it.
But the thing is, Serginho would have done it. Serginho at that time was one of the trickiest.
Yeah, but it's okay. Scholes would have just hacked him down. This is Scholes.
Yeah, and then get sent off in the Champions
League
final.
He would have got the booking, and then it would have been someone else to hack him down. Like, Scholes had this great ability of he would get himself sent off a couple of times, but you could
get
probably
himself sent off for punching the ball into the goal one time and trying to pass it off as a header. Not my star midfielder.
Hold up. We could talk about comparisons, but we wouldn't want to do that, would we?
Anyway, I found it to us.
What happened when? Hold up. What happened? What happened when you were playing United and Gerrard came on in the second half?
Oh, he showed Ander Herrera. He showed Joe Allen and Adam Lallana how to actually play in a Manchester United Liverpool game.
Yeah, it worked really well that he lasted on the pitch for about. He lasted on the pitch for about a minute, didn't he?
Do you know what's funny though? For the 38 seconds he was on that pitch, he was fucking immense. Sprayed like 3 great passes out and nutmegged someone, and then just had to stamp on under Herrera.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest moment of his career. I suppose we can all get hyped up a bit before a big game like that. But
the main thing is like you can't. Okay, I'll say that trophies comes into it to some extent, but ultimately, if you're saying someone is a great player worthy of being a player in the Hall of Fame, you can't argue against Gerrard. And people say, "Oh, okay, well, you know, he can't be inducted into the Hall of Fame before certain other players from Man United because they've won certain titles." Like, I'm not being funny. Nicky Butt could have won 10 Premier League titles. He doesn't deserve to be inducted.
No, I think you obviously you have to pay a little bit of attention on what they won. I did Scholes get into the Hall of Fame?
No, not yet. No.
Right, so Gerrard don't get it. For me, Gerrard doesn't go in above Scholes. That's arguably one.
I think there's Shearer, Henry, Cantona, Frank Lampard, David Beckham, and Roy Keane.
But also, I think people are being a little bit too.
You also don't get
this whole order. Like, okay, Scholes is almost certainly going to be inducted in the next round, which is probably going to be like a month or a couple of weeks or whatever. Like, just because one has happened 2 weeks before the other, does that make any difference? Really? Like,
I think it's a year.
Is this Hall of Fame going to be a physical like museum, like place you can actually go, or is it just like something online?
I have no idea.
It's something online, which people are going to try and use in art debates. If you want to judge the player, because that's what it is, it's a individual. If it was not about the player, we'd be seeing the United treble-winning team in there because that's what deserves to get in there. As a player, Gerrard holds the record for most Team of the Year appearances, most Player of the Month. I think he's got a Young Player of the Year, a Players Player of the Year,
the European Team of the Years, and all that kind of stuff as well.
He's in the Champions League.
He ain't got a Ballon d'Or though. Where's his Ballon d'Or?
Fuck it, Michael Owen. Come on then, Michael. In you go.
Exactly. Michael Owen should be in that. I'm joking. Of course, I'm joking. But no, look, if you want to see the real Hall of Fame, go check out our stream that we did about a month ago. That is the real Hall of Fame. FYI, Gerrard was not in there. That's all I'm saying. We nominated 5 to go in. I know
that you like them weird, fucking horrible questions. I sent you a thread of some of them now, just so before the quiz you can pain us more with some of these stupid ones.
I do like
ammunition, Tom. You know that.
I do love a good horrible question. Ooh, who are you picking? Oh, this is good. This is brilliant. Who are you picking? Liverpool edition, Suarez or Salah?
Suarez
is the best. When Suarez played for us in that final season, he was unplayable. The best individual season by any Premier League striker.
These are brilliant. I'm gonna skip the second one because I don't really think either of you will care too much. Third one, Alonso or Fabinho?
Alonso for me.
It's tight, bro. I've got to go Alonso.
Yeah.
Trent or Robbo?
I went to his debut, his European debut against Monaco when Adebayor was playing for him, and it was amazing seeing him in the stadium play. Like,
was that Trent or Robbo?
Yeah, Trent or Robbo.
Trent.
I like Robbo. I know he's a scouser, but I like Robbo more. I like Robbo more. As a player, I like Robbo more.
If you want Tom's Twitter, it's _Tom_little__. For any Scousers that are currently a little bit upset now.
It's like choosing between which of the Kardashians I can't pick. I gotta go for one.
I didn't even think of asking you that one, but you sent me a lovely thread.
Wow.
I saw the first one of Suarez and Salah, and you'd like that one. Didn't read any of the other ones.
You probably ought to have, because there's some brilliant ones. So who are you going, Trent or Robbo?
I'm going Robbo.
Trent for me. Trent.
All right.
But I love Robbo.
Oh, this one's beautiful. Peak Gerrard or peak Van Dijk?
Peak Gerrard. Peak Gerrard.
I don't know. You know, peak Van Dijk was like peak Van Dijk nearly won us the bloody league and the Champions League.
Yeah.
I think we need peak Van Dijk more.
We don't get into these
in
debates.
This team. Yeah, probably. I mean, but I don't know. It's with Gerrard a lot. It's also about emotion for me. And
like any other question, Gerrard wins. Any other one, he wins.
So.
Ian Rush or Dalglish?
I'm gonna go Ian Rush purely because my family loves him. Like that, they watched him, and he was revolutionary for strikers. Him and Dalglish had such a good partnership, but they just have so many good stories of Ian Rush. So I'm gonna have to go for him. But it's tight.
Yeah,
Someone likes the Kardashians. Really why, mate? Isn't being a Liverpool fan bad enough? That's brilliant. Yeah, what were you gonna say, Rack?
See, I didn't really watch a lot of Dalglish's career. I caught the end of Rush's, so I was watching it more when Dalglish had taken over as player manager. But I've always had a bit of a soft spot for Dalglish, so I'll go Dalglish. But as players, I didn't watch them in their peaks.
Michael Owen or Mane? That one's easy, isn't it? It's Mane. Owen donned the United shirt.
Yeah, but if it was the player, I'd take.
He's also been he's been one of your most horrific club ambassadors I've ever seen.
If it's as a legacy overall, Mane. But if it's as just I have a player that goes into a Liverpool team, I'm taking the Michael Owen that won the Ballon d'Or.
I hear that.
I don't.
I prefer Mane.
Yeah, I'd say Mane as well, but Owen, Owen's been really unfortunate, and he hasn't helped himself. But I believe he said it as much. He always wanted to come back to Liverpool, and he tried everything. He shouldn't have left the way he left in the first place. But ever since then, he was always trying to get back, and just different things conspired against it happening. And I don't really begrudge him going to United, just because at that point in time, I think the only other team that had come in for him was like Middlesbrough or someone like that, or Stoke. And if you have an option of going to Stoke or United,
it's such a tough
ultimately
decision.
He's a professional footballer, and when you're a professional footballer, I think you can perhaps take some emotion out of it. He's not a fan in that sense, but
Jammy Dodgers or Wagon Wheels? It's got to be a Wagon Wheel. Got to be a Wagon
Jammy
Wheel.
Dodgers for me. I've never really been a fan of Wagon Wheels. You only get one in a pack. Like Jammy Dodgers, you buy a pack of them.
That's why you have two. You just get two. It's like the way I call it is I call it a double-decker wagon wheel. It works perfectly. We've got some more ones. Kabak or Phillips? You've got to go Phillips, haven't you? He's a I don't know. Do you go? I would assume because Phillips is through your youth academy.
I'm on the Phillips hype train to get us as much money when we sell him. Phillips.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm going Kabak.
Yeah, I think Kabak's a better player.
Tom's obviously not thinking of the hype and trying to get as much money for Phillips as possible.
Lad, his goal against Burnley's already guaranteed. They're paying us 20 million for him.
Michael Owen is. If only Bournemouth were around. If Bournemouth were still in the Premier League, we could have sold him to Bournemouth for 20 million.
If Bournemouth go up, oh my God. We've got Origi, Shaqiri. We'll just sell them all.
Job lot. These four players, 80 million, final offer.
Yeah. 13-14 Sterling or 17-18 Coutinho?
17-18 Coutinho, no doubt about it. The only annoying thing is he didn't finish that season because we would have won the Champions League with him.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Klopp or Benitez? That's a tough one.
Klopp. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I love Rafa, but Klopp.
Thiago and Henderson. That's the easiest one you've ever. That one's shocking.
Jordan.
No, well, that's why I'm there saying it's shocking. That's ridiculous. Which duo you picking at their peak? Suarez, Sturridge, Salah, Mane.
Suarez, Sturridge.
SAS.
My nostalgia wants me to take Suarez and Sturridge, but I've got to take Salah and Mane purely for what they've done. Like, they've done it for longer. That's why their prime has lasted longer as a duo.
I mean, look, Studge was great in that 13-14 season, but just Suarez was a force of nature, and I think that's why I kind of edge a little bit more towards him.
I only noticed, because I have to go back to that 13-14 season, Daniel Sturridge missed like 10 games with injury as well.
Yeah. Suarez missed the first 5 because he was banned.
Like, if we'd had that full-strength squad, we would have won the league on goal difference.
And also, like, I think Suarez got 32 goals that season, but Gerrard was taking all the pens. Gerrard scored like 10 penalties that season, or 10 or 11 or something like that.
Yeah, Suarez got 31 goals.
Was it 31?
31 goals, 12 assists, and 33 or 4 games.
Yeah, exactly.
Ridiculous.
So, I mean, if he was taking penalties, he would have absolutely obliterated the goal scoring record. But
Torres or Salah?
Oh, see, Fernando Torres. My first football memories are of Fernando Torres.
He used to rip Vidic a new one. Torres was the only striker Nemanja Vidic could not handle. And I just don't understand why.
He was the only striker Fergie couldn't handle until he went for Chelsea. Like, they used to put 2 men on Torres the entire game because he couldn't do it. He was that good.
It's when he went to Chelsea, Fergie was laughing his head off.
Fuck it. My nostalgia's taken over. Fernando, El Nino.
Well, Torres, for 2.5 seasons, 2 seasons then, Torres was the best striker in the world. He was just a different class. He had pace. He was great in the air. He was just had everything. He could finish.
The partnership with Stevie. Oh,
that was amazing. And it this is maybe when it broke my heart when he left a little bit. And from that point onwards, I think I've liked individual players a little bit less.
He caused too much damage if it's a tough play.
Basically, I was left traumatized. Even though he was, on his way down.
You know what's so sad as well? If Torres hadn't left, we would have seen Gerrard, Torres, Suarez all together, because Suarez was being signed regardless of what happened. It was Torres going, bought Andy Carroll. Imagine Torres, Suarez, Gerrard. Oh no, that would have been ridiculous.
Having said that, no, I'll stick with Tom. Yeah, I'll go Torres. Peak.
Okay, and the last one.
Look, Torres. Peak Torres would definitely be in the top 5 top 5 strikers currently for sure. So
Peak Torres would be the best striker currently.
Yeah. Great.
The last one: Curtis Jones or Naby Keita? Are you going for the proper Scouse lad, or are you going Naby Keita?
Are we going for the Scouser or the ambulance?
I just feel so not let down is not the word, but I feel cheated by the fact that we haven't seen.
You know what it was with Keita? It was the fact that we knew he was coming a year in advance, so we had all the hype of that. There was loads of hype around it, and if we just bought him normally, he wouldn't get anywhere near the stick he gets now. No. It was because he came in with all this expectation of being a world beater because of the year. Wait, I still love him. I'm picking him purely out of sympathy.
I don't want to let him go, but I kind of feel like it's coming towards
when he's fit. He's such a good midfielder.
It's interesting. The Scousers picked a Scotsman and Naby Keita over 2 Scousers.
No, but the Robertson one's like so tight. Yeah. Like it's so. I thought Scousers feel differently. But I thought Scousers
were all about it's all us against the UK. Being Scouse is a completely different nation. Like, no, and Tom's just
Andy Robbo's an adopted Scouser. Yeah, he's an adopted Scouser.
He fucking don't speak like one. He's got the most thickest Scottish accent you can get.
The Scousers love Scousers.
the way that he's fitted in, though, you could, apart from his accent, it feels like he's been there his entire career.
He's definitely punching a Mancunian in the face if they look at him the wrong way. He's definitely adopted that part of the Scouts. I'd go Curtis Jones on that one. I quite like Curtis Jones. I was saying Sonny or me. I'll go Velverswan on that one quite easily. I have various reasons why I do that, but yeah, that wasn't even a difficult one. No one would ever get me doing that. It's okay. I'm going to give you a question before the quiz. Obviously, you're playing Crystal Palace at Anfield this Sunday at 4 p.m. I'm sure you're not nervous at all. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? You're starting 11
season that.
Well, your starting 11 most likely going to be Alisson in goal, Trent right back with Nat Phillips and Rhys Williams at centre back with Andrew Robertson left back. I'm presuming the midfield will probably consist of Fabinho, Wijnaldum and Thiago. Then you'll probably play with a front three of, I'm presuming, Mane, Firmino and Salah, unless he does a complete madness and plays Origi up top, which I don't think anyone would appreciate seeing. So, what's your thoughts? Are you excited for the game, or are you hoping that you can prolong the agony and not have this game so quickly?
Lad, the last time I was excited for a Liverpool game this season was Aston Villa away. After the state of that game, I've never been excited.
All right, guys. Let's get what you need to do in the comments now is get Tom buzzed for this game, because Genie's going to Anfield. Could you imagine if you got slapped 7-2?
He'd never come back on.
I'll just send him a text before the match reaction saying, "I hope Anfield was nice."
Lad, you know the thing of what could possibly go wrong? That's been the story of our fucking season. Oh no, Alisson against Villa. Oh, we've got Adriano. What could possibly go wrong? Oh look, we've got our full strength team back against Everton. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, Joe Gomez on international duty. What could possibly go wrong?
Tom, what would your thoughts be if Alisson picked up a minor injury and you had to play Adrian in goal?
Don't even say it. I think Tom's gone.
Lad, you know what? I'd sacrifice my firstborn to make sure Alisson's fit for this game. That's what it means. Top 4 is worth that much.
The thought of our Champions League qualification hopes being in Adrian's hands.
No. Imagine if it was like a collision in training, and it's like Alisson, Robbo, and Trent. So we're left with Tsimikas, Phillips, Williams, and Adrian in goal. Oh.
I'd find that entertaining to watch. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, what can possibly go wrong this weekend?
Don't even, man. Fucking Mo Salah will probably die on the pitch, and then we'll have to bring on Origi on the right wing.
I mean, you could have just said.
So Origi hasn't scored this season yet, and every season has an Origi moment.
But he did do crossbar challenge against Burnley.
That's his Origi moment, the crossbar against Burnley when he's 1-on-1. He's got literally the left side of the goal open, and he goes for the top right stanchion.
Mystic Wolf saying 7-0 Palace win. Goals: Zaha. Roy Hodgson, spice up to you.
It wouldn't surprise me, Roy Hodgson could probably make a run blindside of Rhys Williams without dozy ears. Just a ball over the top from Joel Ward. We see Roy Hodgson sprinting down Rhys Williams. Probably still can't catch up to
him. Imagine Roy Hodgson nets the winner in front of the cop.
Rhys Williams, he does look when he sprints. He does look like he's running in sand or something. There's like
Rhys Williams
he looks like he's shattered.
He reminds me of Mamadou Sakho, but Mamadou Sakho was actually good.
He was decent.
Mamadou Sakho ran weird, but would always get the ball somehow.
Yeah.
Rhys Williams just runs and is stuck. No matter how fast he moves his arms, fast he moves his legs, he stays the exact same pace.
Who do you reckon's quicker? Do you reckon Nat Phillips is quicker or Rhys Williams?
I'm not sure. Nat Phillips is quicker. I reckon Rhys Williams gets to top speed quicker, but I think Nat Phillips is just faster.
Who would have thought we would have been talking about this before the end of the last game of the season at the start of the year?
Lad, I remember when we beat Arsenal 3-1, I was sat there going, "Oh, give us the league title now." And now I'm sat here debating which one of our 6th and 7th choice centre backs are quicker.
You know, I was working the day we beat Palace 7-2, so I couldn't watch it. I was just getting the goal updates, and I was chatting to my mate who was an Arsenal fan who I was working with, and I was like, "It's just so good to be this good." And after I said that, it's been downhill ever since. That was. I can't
we used like, I remember that Palace game. We used like our bloody monthly goal allowance in one game, and then just didn't score again.
I hear that. But what are you going for predictions then?
I think we'll win 3-1.
That's what Max says as well. Max, very similar. Tom?
4-0.
You're brave. This is where. Hold on, who to?
Just 4-0. Just
4-0.
Jesus, that would
just
be
4-0. Do you know what would be funny though? Imagine if we lost 4-0. But Tottenham Hotspur turned out and done a job and managed to beat Leicester City, and we get top 4 despite being battered by Crystal Palace.
That would be utterly disgraceful. But it's your favourite time of the week.
Yeah,
it's the quiz.
I think I'm pretty much going to be a bystander here because Tom gets these bloody.
Well, I hope not, because I've been an absolute motherfucker this week. Absolute motherfucker.
What's the standings? How many points can I drop?
You are 1 point behind United, but
how are we behind them?
Because various reasons. It's not. They were 2 points ahead of you. You two have been really good these past couple of weeks. I tried catching them out with fucking Cambridge in the FA Cup, and they still managed to get it. Wankers. But it's okay. I've been a proper cunt to absolutely all of you this week. You've both got really difficult ones, and I look forward to seeing it. You've both also got one really, really easy one, or 2 easy ones. We something like that. I think you've both got 2 easy ones, and you've both got 2 very, very difficult ones. And when I say very, very difficult, this is going to be hilarious when you see it. But are we both ready?
Yeah.
So this is picture number 1.
Okay. Right, that's it.
Blackburn. That's what's his name? Playing fullback for him. The Chelsea player. What's his name? Was that someone else?
I don't know. It looks like bloody Deontay Wilder at right back.
Oh dear. What kit is that?
It's the 2008-9 kit, I think.
Is that 8-9, yeah. And what do we need to do? Give the score?
The score, the year, and the competition.
Blackburn weren't in the Premier League at that point, were they? They'd been relegated.
Yeah,
so
no, they were.
It must be FA Cup or League Cup.
No, they were 100% there.
They were? Okay. Right.
They were, because they were there for like 04 to like 012, like 12 or something. Man. They were like
10
one of the regulars
to go.
Oh, I think it was like 3-1. I think it was 3-1. I think it was, because I think I saw Albert Riera in the background there. 3-1.
08, 09, 3-1.
It was 08 or 09. I just don't know what year. Because it was the at Anfield, Torres scored that bloody worldie.
I think it was 09, because I think Riera came in halfway through the season, didn't he? Or was that the season before?
I don't know.
I think Riera came in. I don't think we had him. We don't think we bought him at the start of the season. I think he came in during the January transfer window.
I think it was like December time, you know, because I think the Torres worldie was like, when was this Torres world? I think it was April time. The Torres, because we played them like, because this was the year we finished second.
Yeah.
And during Christmas, United had a shit run of form because they had the Club World Cup. So we capitalised on it and then fell off a cliff around February. So I think we won in December 2008 is what I'd go for. 3-1 in the Premier League.
Okay.
And what year?
2008.
Okay. Picture number 2 is 1 second. Here is picture number 2.
Oh, it's one of the 4-3s.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the 4-3s.
I'm trying to remember the order of the goals.
I think this was the one where Robbie Fowler got a brace in it.
So the first one, because it was Fowler and Collymore that scored the two. They got a 2 apiece, didn't they?
Yeah, I think this was the year afterwards.
Oh, what the one we were winning 3-0?
Yeah, and then I think it was the one where Fowler scored a brace because we were 3-0 up, and then
And then they scored 3 in the last 5 minutes.
when Aspria, who was the big signing, got 2 in 2 minutes. So I'd say it was 4-3. 1997, because the other one was 96. So 4-3, 97 Premier League.
Yeah.
Okay. And picture number 3 is this one.
This is 1-0. 1-0. Is that the
Danny Murphy?
Yeah.
Free kick at Old Trafford.
Mm-hmm. What year was it, though?
I don't know the year, though. That kit.
Danny Murphy. Was that the treble kit?
It looks like it, you know. Yeah, look, Beckham is there.
Treble kit.
Who's that next to Beckham?
Where's Beckham?
Beckham's in the wall.
Oh, Roy Keane, Gary Neville, Paul Scholes, and I don't know who the one on the right is.
Oh, that's the French kid, the French guy. What's his name? Mikel Silvestre.
Is it?
Yeah, Mikel Silvestre. Yeah, I'd say let's go to treble team. That's the only one I can think. I don't know whether it was.
I think it was the treble kit. You know, I think it was.
I'm not sure if it's 2000 or 2001.
It's 2000. It was December time because it was another one where we were having good form around Christmas and then fell off a cliff. It's something Liverpool seem to do quite a lot. 2000, 1-0 Premier League.
Okay. Picture number 4 is this one.
Okay, 3-0 Barcelona 2019.
Yeah.
Okay.
Champions League.
And I said there's a really easy one. Here's your last one.
I don't even want to answer it. Is the 15 points even worth it? Just remembering. Look at the state of the players that were playing that game. Why is Oxlade-Chamberlain on a football pitch?
What is Origi doing with his arm there?
He's shaped up to it like prime R9 just to smack the crossbar. Look at the left side of the goal. Oh, lad. Honestly, he's got blood on his hands.
So what?
Barely 1-0 Premier League 2021.
Excellent. I do like to make you lot happy during the quiz. That certainly made me happy. To be fair, I originally did have Burnley 1-0 down, but I didn't actually use a picture of Origi. And then you mentioned Origi, and I thought that would be quite funny to use. So I was quite keen on that idea. So let's go through them. So I just need to quickly. There we go. Right. So the first one was Blackburn 0, Liverpool 0 in the Premier League in 2009. It was a 0-0. The second one.
We said it was 3-1.
Yeah, you said 3-1 in 2008. There was in fact 0-0 in 2009. The second one was Liverpool.
Why the fuck did we wear the same kit multiple years?
The Arsenal boys say that a lot on their quiz. It's fine.
But no, just to be clear, when you say year, do you mean, because obviously the season is split over 2 years, so do you mean the actual year or do you mean the season?
Yeah, the exact year it was played.
Okay.
I've caught many people out with that one before. And it's definitely that season. I'm like, yep, narrow it down, split it into 2. Which one is it? And Tom's now going to try and hunt it down to see if I got it wrong. It was from BBC Sports, so if it's wrong, I again get to blame the BBC. Whilst Tom looks for that, the second one, Liverpool 4, Newcastle 3, in the Premier League in 1997.
Why did we wear the same kit multiple years?
Tom's fuming. Tom is absolutely raging.
Bullshit.
The third one was Manchester United 0, Liverpool 1 in the Premier League in 2000. The fourth one was Barcelona 3, Liverpool 0 in the Champions League in 2019. And the last one was, in fact, Divock Origi's Crossbar Challenge Day.
Yeah.
Liverpool 0, Burnley 1 in the Premier League in 2021. My greatest one, because that was the first ever match reaction I hosted on the Football Addiction. And can I just say, I thoroughly enjoyed that match reaction more than anything else, because straight after that, I think a week later, I then got to host United 1, Sheffield United 2. Which I did massively enjoy. Liam, I will listen to that, watch it when I am not streaming. It's a bit difficult when I'm streaming, but after I've done that, I will check that.
Well, at least now you've got proof that we don't fucking cheat, because it's fucking cheat. Why did we fucking wear the same kit year in year out?
I think last week United dropped a point. So you actually managed to close the gap to them, and now you've given them.
Hold on, if United fucked up last week, we should have been level on points.
They got 15 out of 15. You got 15 out of 15. I did nearly dock you a point for Genie's celebration, but that was very tempting. I won't lie to you. That was very tempting to nearly dock you for that. You did nearly get docked points for that. I'm just saying. It was the week before United dropped points. They in fact, they got your one wrong. It was Manchester United 0, Liverpool 1 in 2004. So
we should have been level on points then, because they also lost a point for cheating. No, because they were 2 points ahead of us. I've
already deducted that point off him because I gave him a cross on it. Trust me.
Were they 3 points ahead?
No, there were 2 points. They were 2 points ahead of it. They were 3 points ahead of you originally. I then docked a point.
Yeah, but when did they get 3 points ahead?
Fuck knows, mate. I'll have to look back.
What one did we fuck up so badly?
I've got it on an Excel spreadsheet, mate. I'll send it to you later. I'll send you.
I don't want it sent later. I want to fucking cry about why Adidas was.
It's okay. It's okay. Once we're not live, I'll tell you some of the ones that United are going to have to guess, because RIP United.
Yeah, but United, we all know that fucking certain United people Google it.
It's okay. I haven't added them in yet, so you can't see it. Velvetran saying Niall, he's very upset with me. Why are you upset with me? What have I done wrong?
You should have put a nice picture in.
I did. Divock Origi hitting the post. There's not many times you do crossbar challenge in the
Blackburn one.
Oh, that was a nice picture. There was you try getting a nice picture from 2009. Didn't even have cameras back then.
I can very easily get one from the 4-0.
Yeah, that wasn't 4-0, mate. It was 0-0.
I don't care. I wanted the 4-0 one.
Well, you may want. What a ridiculous one. You boys have let me down. Embarrassing. You guys should have got 15 points for me. Velvetran is fuming.
Hold on, Velvetran. Yeah. you have a go again, 0-0 versus Blackburn when we wore the same kit 2 years in a row. What?
Tom's not going to be able to sleep now.
Tom's going to be home. Tom's going to be hoping that United screw up in their quiz, which is more than plausible. Very plausible.
That goes with the territory anyway, doesn't it?
Yeah, so United need to drop 3 points today. I'll let you know how that goes. But then also you'll see me on Forward Watch later. It's going to be an entertaining one because I've got a very entertaining forward to put in there. But we have come to the end of the show. Please leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Whoever said Scousers were annoying. But I didn't. Who said that? How rude. Our socials, Twitter at Let's Talk Premier League and Instagram at Let's Talk EPL_, and on TikTok at Let's Talk Premier League. And the Twitter is actually Let's Talk EPL, not Let's Talk Premier League. Fucked up there, didn't I? But Rack, where can they find you, bro?
Just on Twitter. That's my at Raxing1. Only tweet really about football. So yeah, follow me if you want.
Buzzing. Velvish one saying, actually, let's just blame Sonny. His Nat Phillips comments has cost us.
Probably why Niall made it so hard. Out of revenge for some of the stuff he's been saying.
To be fair, though, it was key. The fact that so many United fans had got their knickers in a twist was genius. They didn't know what to say.
To be fair, I think I may have made it more difficult because of Genie's celebration last week. I may have had that in my mind as well. You're lucky the photos weren't black and white. That's all I will say. That was very tempting. But Tom, where can they find you?
God knows. Just God knows now.
Just God knows. God will know where to find Tom. His @ is in the description. But we'll be back. Well, I'll be back at 10 o'clock with the United show hosted by RJ. Got a good panel, and their quiz is going to be, well, they're going to be begging for mercy by the end of it. But we're going to end it there. Please, thank you for watching. Please leave a like on the video. But until next time, have a good day.